MATC Now, we get to explore the animation department, witness how MATC gives back to our students, and learn about the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office. Also, make sure to stick around for some of Chef BellaDee's delicious fry bread. All this and more coming up on MATC Now. Dasha Hamilton, as she will be taking us around campus today to go and explore.
Thank you, Courtney. We're here at the DEI office to learn about what impact they have on MATC campus as a whole. We'll see you here in a few minutes.
Dasha, I am so excited to hear more about it. We'll be back to check in with you in a little bit. If you've ever considered funeral services as a potential career, Corey Nicholas is a former student of the Military Science program and speaks of her experience entering the funeral services. Also, this Thursday is Thanksgiving. Student producer Carlos Anderson took a trip to the on-campus food pantry to find out more about how the campus gives to their students.
Hello, my name is Charles Anderson, and today we're going to be interviewing Haley Weber here at the food pantry. Since you are one of the food coordinators for this place, correct? Mm-hmm. So, how much food supplies do you guys receive within a week?
That's a really good question. So our partner is Feeding America, Southeastern Wisconsin, and we are allowed to order from them twice a week, and we can get as many, pounds of food as we want, but we have to order at least 500 pounds of food every order to get it delivered. Since we're considered a small food pantry, we do have limits on the items that we can get, but in general, the amount of food is pretty open. So we can get, pallets and pallets and pallets of food, but the options are based on what Feeding America has in inventory. So it's at least 500 pounds every order with various different foods.
So is the food pantry only open to students, or anybody that's like an outsider can come in here as well?
So that's a really interesting question. Our food pantry is designed to serve MATC students. However, we are a collaboration of community organizations in the Student Resource Center, so we do end up serving community members as well. While we want to make sure that most of our food goes directly to MATC students so that you guys can all be successful on campus, we won't turn anyone away. So we are open at the downtown location Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesdays we're open 10 to 4, and Wednesdays and Thursdays we're open 10 to 6 because we want to be able to accommodate some of those students that go to night classes. If students aren't comfortable coming during the regular hours, you can make an appointment with me and then we can go in just together. I know the food pantry is not always the most comfortable place for people to visit, so we want to make sure that it's as comfortable as it can be. The other campuses, however, all have their own hours, and so you want to connect with the student life coordinator at each location, and they can give you the hours for those. But they're primarily any kind of office hours, so 8 to 4 most days. We're going to be here and accommodate you. One of the things is about our hours, we just have students staffing, which is cool because you guys all support each other in our food pantry. But if there's no staff, our Student Resource Center staff is happy to help people. We don't want students to go hungry on campus. I think that sometimes coming into the Student Resource Center, and particularly the food pantry, can feel a little bit daunting. And I just want you all to know that everyone here is here to support students. We understand that you may have needs that it might be your toughest day and you just need a snack. Please come in and speak with us. If you're hungry, just come. Just come and visit us, and we're not going to let you go home with not a full stomach.
Many students who attend MATC arrive with the hope of pursuing a career in what they study for, and many of those students leave finding success in their field through the knowledge they obtain.
I am a family service manager, which is actually a sales manager position at Arlington Park Cemetery, Forest Hill Memorial Park, and Woodlawn Cemetery, which are all Milwaukee cemeteries for Dignity Memorial. When I was at MATC, I was in the mortuary science program. Mortuary science is learning to be a funeral director embalmer, and that helped me transition to my current role working for the cemetery as a family service manager. Interestingly, MATC is the only school in the state of Wisconsin that provides the mortuary science program, so it's actually quite exclusive. You do learn how to manage business as if you were going to open up your own funeral home someday. So I did learn a lot about business operations. I had to take accounting classes, and so it really helped me to be able to grow my current business and be an effective leader of people. One of the classes that was always really impactful to me is Death and Dying. It was a class to help understand what others are going through while they are grieving, understanding how to talk about death without scaring someone else, and just learning how to use your empathy and sympathy to be a better communicator. One of the things that I always found incredible about MATC was that when I first started and I wasn't sure what to do, so Death and Dying was one of the classes I took early on, I felt like when I first went to college, I didn't really know what I wanted. And having them show me that class, and it felt like everywhere else I had gone, the doors were closing in on me. You know, I had debt, I wasn't sure what I wanted, and when I went there, it felt like all the doors started being held open. So MATC was like, here you go. MATC was certainly accommodating. They helped me to be able to take my classes when I needed to so that I could work full-time, so that I was able to still have a life outside of school, which I know is not something that everyone gets to have when they're first starting out. And I think that really did afford me the ability to become more myself, if that makes sense. It taught me to become independent. Make sure that you plan out your schedule. You know, your prerequisites are really important. MATC does transfer to other colleges, so understanding what that might look like for you is really helpful, and talking to other students that are in your same program, making those connections, networking, those will all help you later in life. So the more of that you can do at MATC, the easier it will be.
Through the resources and classes offered at MATC, students have the opportunity to pursue a career in anything they go to study for.
Wow, a big thanks to Corey Nicholas for her insightful interview on the funeral services.
I agree, but hey, let's check back in with Dasha Hamilton as she takes us to the DEI office to learn more about how MATC exemplifies diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Hi, my name is Dasha Kelly Hamilton. I'm the Social Justice Chair for MATC, and I'm filling in for your regular correspondent, Mackenzie Krueger. And I'm here at the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office with Zachariah Chen, and we are going to find out what happens here in this office and how it helps you on campus. Good morning.
Good morning, Dasha.
Can you tell us a little bit about what happens here in the DEI office?
Yes. Here in the DEI office, which is part of it's a new office that's created, not long ago, created by the college in order to address the issues that deal with diversity, equity, and inclusion within the MATC family, within MATC community as a whole. And this office then has a lot to do in terms of how then to include almost all faculty, staff, and students within the campus as such.
What motivated the college to create this office? What does it benefit the campus?
This college benefits the campus a lot. It has a lot in terms of benefit the campus. For example, within the 5-year planning of the college as such. This college has, this office has a role to play within that 5-year planning of the college. And the goals within this office, first of all, I'll even say the office is large. Large in the sense that it has resources that cover so many aspects of the student experience. For example, it has resources that look at multicultural students, resources that look at Title IX students, resources that look at bilingual students, resources that look at students that have complaints of bias. It has resources in terms of that one. Then for the goals of the office as such, which are embedded in the 5-year plan of this college, the goals were being structured just within this year, just this June, and for the next 5 years, that is what we shall be looking at. There are four main goals. If I could just give you briefly what those 4 main goals are. The first of the goals is that of welcoming and including almost everybody who comes here. And that this first goal, which deals in terms of how students, how employees, how visitors, do they feel included? Are they feel welcome within this MATC campus as such? So that first goal is right there in terms of welcoming, so that at any moment anybody comes in, they know they are welcome. Then the second goal of this office, instituted within the plan, deals with employee experience. And in terms of dealing with that employee experience, it deals in terms of how then are employees welcomed, how then are employees feel as part of the MATC family. And in looking at that aspect, for example, it opens up, since you know that this college is a majority institution, so employees must be able to feel that they belong within the institution as such. Yeah. And to do that then, almost all the pathway heads, almost all the departmental heads, they are being held accountable and empowered to make sure that their various employees who are being recruited and retained reflect also the student body of the college as a whole. Then the third goal of this college of this office as such, is that of student experience. And you agree with me that no college can exist without students. You must have students are there at the backbone. But knowing full well also that minority students, either black students, Asian students, Latin American students, or underrepresented students, the challenge they face. So it is a place there now for this office to put a slight laser focus on this group to see how far can policies be structured in such a way that they can be addressed. If those students have concerns, they can be addressed. How far classes are being structured, how far instructors are being educated about these group of underrepresented students, so that we are able to take care of them. Because above all, in terms of education, it is not those who know a lot, those who are bright that are at the top you must think of. You must also be able to think of those who are facing challenges. It is then that you really have the greatest impact. And the last goal of all, which this college is trying to do, is MATC is trying to become an anti-racist institution. And working towards that drive to become an anti-racist institution, it now calls for the fact that the policies, the procedures should all reflect that drive towards becoming an anti-racist institution. Why? Because for the interest of almost all of us.
So what I heard you say is not only does this office put in programs and resources, it empowers everyone on campus, students, faculty, staff, to also be a part of making that change.
Oh, yes.
That's
oh,
good.
yes.
So let's look what the
Oh,
office
yes.
has.
Almost all of us, everybody has, all hands have to be on deck for us to be able to succeed. Yes, you are right.
So what are some of the things that happen here? How do you get some of those work done?
In terms of doing within this office as such, as I told you, the office has other resources. The other resources and other, they are close by. But within this office, as you see, here we already have a representative of the Latino group, which is right here. Here within this other cubicle here, you have an alliance, somebody within Alliance group, one of the Alliance Students Alliance. There again, there are 3 other offices there. The one behind there is also for the men the men of color aspect of it. And we have the intention also to be able to put another office again there for the Native American group, to make sure that at least almost all of those groups are reflected within this office as you see it as such.
This is important work and a 5-year plan. We're looking forward to seeing more things come out of this office.
Yes,
Congratulations.
more will come. And as I said, more can only come if all of us put our hands on deck, because the challenge is for all of us, not only for the office alone.
Absolutely.
Yes, so we look forward to that one.
That sounds good.
Yes.
All hands on deck. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dasha. It's so great to hear about MATC's efforts to be inclusive towards everyone. Visit the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion tab on the MATC website if you want to learn more. Let's see what student producers Nelicia Lorenzana and Leslie Garcia found after they took a brief look in the animation program.
From video games to effects in movies, animation is expanding. Instructor Tim Decker dives into the MATC program.
The skills that are developed in our program are basically drawing and more technical skills in software, using software like Adobe Animate, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, 3D Studio Max. We work with the Unity engine. I mean, a lot of the skill set, I think, is based upon drawing and the ability to work digitally. And that's where everything has gone. In my day, it was all traditional, where we hand drew everything on paper, but now it's all digital and we do it all on the computer, and the kids have to be aware of that. They have to be aware that they're going to be drawing and they're going to be creating things, and it's a lot of work to make animation and to model and to make things in 3D, but it'll pay off in the end.
The animation projects within the program help shape those skills that students formulate during this learning experience.
I would have to say one of the projects a lot of the kids look forward to is the Letters of Santa. And that's a fun project, and I usually try to handpick a few students to work on that, the ones I know that can get it done. And I work with them on pre-production, and then from the pre-production they jump into production, and I think they have a lot of fun doing it. And other things they look forward to doing is, when the chances come, people come to MATC wanting the animation done, and they all like to jump on that stuff. But I think really, the kids that come here really come in here with hope and a desire, and then we have to get their talent moving. So I think any project is exciting.
The career potentials for animation are excellent. 2D and 3D animation are being used today in many more ways than in the past.
There are some opportunities. There are opportunities for the students to go to work in advertising and modeling for industry, Briggs & Stratton, those guys, John Deere. There's stuff like that going on, but there's also TV production where the kids are doing title treatments and things like that for animation for shows and newscasts. In Milwaukee, there's a lot of things like I said, in advertising and website design and things like that. But I really think my advice to my students is to take advantage of the 2+2 that we have set up with UWM and at Columbia in Chicago, and to get that BFA, to get that Bachelor's of Fine Art degree, because eventually when they turn 50, they might want to think about teaching. They might want to fall back on some teaching after they've had a family. They might want to go on and do something else with their careers. But the degree carries a little weight, and it carries a little bit more money in your wages. So I think the 2-year degree is a great thing, but I push to go on for 4.
Whether you're interested in 2D or 3D animation, commercial animation, character rigging, or even just an artist, the animation program is a good fit for those who want to get creative.
It's awesome to see the creativity that flows out from the halls of MATC. Right now, I'm with Nick Oliaro, who can give us an inside look into the department. So Nick, we were talking before, what inspired you to go into animation?
Well, I've been watching movies since I was a kid, different movies from Disney and all those kinds of things, and I really got into it then, so it just inspired me from there.
That's perfect. So I know you first went into graphic design and then animation. Why the switch, or do you want to do both at some point?
I decided to move from graphic design to animation because animation is more into drawing, and I've been drawing since I was a kid. So I got into more of drawing when I was like 3 or 4, So once I realized what graphic design was, I realized it wasn't my cup of tea and what I wanted to do. So I transferred to MATC for animation.
Perfect. And how has the program inspired you as a future animator?
It's inspired me to make more and cool work for the world that people haven't seen yet, like new things and not just things that are out there that are just being constantly remade or into new things, like a whole new world of different endless possibilities.
Of course. Are there some things that you've learned that you want to highlight, like some interesting facts about the program?
I learned it's a little harder than it seems at first, but once you get a good grasp at it, it's a lot of fun and a lot of entertainment.
Absolutely. So if there's students who are trying to get into the animation program, what would you tell them?
I'd tell them, just go with the flow with your first semester, and it is a lot of fun. You're going to do a lot of different things, but it may seem like it's a little different and not what you think it is at first, but once you get into it more, you realize that you're going to like it a lot more than you think.
Absolutely. And are you looking to continue in Milwaukee or go somewhere else after college?
I'm looking to stay in Milwaukee possibly, or outside Milwaukee somewhere. We'll see how it goes.
That's awesome, and thank you so much for sharing your perspective on the program and really giving us a good insight, because I feel like animation, you go a really long way and you can inspire so many people through the creative aspects and really give the world more of a highlighted perspective in that sense.
Yeah.
And to have a student's perspective on it too has been wonderful, so thank you.
Yeah. We all have our favorite Thanksgiving dessert. From pumpkin bars to apple pie, sometimes the options of something different run thin. We are here today with Chef BellaDee, who's going to show us how to make a sweet alternative Native American dessert.
Thanks, guys. On the last episode of MATC Now, we cooked some delicious traditional Mexican tamales. Today, in honor of Native American Heritage Month, I'm here to share another quick and easy cultural dish that goes back many generations in tribes such as the Navajo Nation. Fry bread is a flat dough bread that can be enjoyed in a variety of ways, from soups and chili to sweet honey, jams, and just sugar. For this recipe, you'll need 5 basic ingredients that you can probably already find in your kitchen. We're going to take 3 cups of vegetable oil, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a little bit more for dusting, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 cup of milk, and that's it. To start off, we're going to take our vegetable oil and add it to a pan over here. We want it to be just about 1 inch worth of oil, so if that might be a little bit more or less than 3 cups for you, that's okay. And we want that to be about 350 degrees, which for us is about medium-high heat on our burner. And now, as that heats up, we're gonna go over and mix up our dry ingredients. So you're gonna take that 1 cup of flour, and just all-purpose, whatever is nice and in your pantry, because actually where this recipe came from is back in, I believe, I'm loose on the dates of it, but this was from when the U.S. government provided rations to the Native American tribes who were already living here before the U.S. government, so kind of backwards on that one. But they were provided pretty simple rations, and they found ways to work around that and make cool things anyways. So now we're gonna go ahead and add in 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And baking powder is the key to the final texture and fluffiness of this dough. And now we've got all of our ingredients together. Well, the dry ones at least. We're gonna go ahead and mix them. You wanna mix it pretty thoroughly because even though it's just a bunch of powders, you want that baking powder to be well combined with everything else so that it does that baking powder magic and gets everything fluffy everywhere. Now we're gonna go ahead and add in our 1/2 cup of milk. And I promise you I got measurements on the inside of this. So we add in our milk. And now we're gonna go ahead and mix this up. Now this really does not take a whole lot of time to come together. You can see it's already starting to form into something nice there. And you're looking for a pretty pizza dough kind of consistency with this. It is gonna hold its shape pretty nice. It's not like focaccia where it's falling apart, but this is ready for kneading. Now, what we could do is lay out some flour and knead this and do it step-by-step, classic, traditional, but this is television and we treat. We cheat, not treat. We do both. So we're gonna lay out our pre-kneaded dough, flatten this out a little bit, and you'd go ahead and knead that other pre-kneaded mixture about 3 to 4 times. But we've cheated and pre-kneaded. And so we're gonna cut this into 4 little pieces here. And each of these pieces you're gonna flatten out. And you wanna create a little pocket in the center so that when the dough tries to become a sphere in that hot, hot oil, it doesn't. It's more of an actual flat dough shape. And now we're gonna drop it in there. And you see that nice bubbling, boiling, that's what you're looking for. You want this to be cooking off pretty quick. It's only gonna take about a minute on each side or until it's nice and golden brown. And that's it. Once they're done, you're gonna put them on a plate with some paper towel like we have here. But again, we're saving time and doing things ahead of time. So we've got our dough already done right here, topped with some nice little sugar. And yeah, like I said, this is a very versatile thing. You can do whatever you want with it. And it's important to remember that this bread became a symbol of strength and hope for a better tomorrow in many Native American tribes. Why not expand your understanding and knowledge of all the beautiful cultures around the world? Paying respects and filling up on delicious dishes along the way. Thank you for joining us.
That fried bread looks delicious. I can't wait to grab some later. Now let's join Courtney for the MATC Minute.
Gobble, gobble. Thanksgiving break is quickly approaching, so a quick reminder to students that campus and any facilities will be closed this Thursday, November 24th through Sunday, November 27th. Be sure to take advantage of any of these services before break. Are you eager to learn something new during winter break, or are you looking to graduate early? Starting in December, MATC will be offering 3 credit classes to students who register right before December 18th. Find out about winter room classes on the MATC website. If you are around the West Dallas campus on November 30th or the Mequon campus on December 7th between 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m., you can sit down and have lunch with MATC President Vicki J. Martin in the cafeteria. Take this great opportunity to discuss any issues to the people who have the knowledge to help. And lastly, don't forget, class registration is open now. Log on to self-service today and make sure you're signed up for the right classes that will lead to your pathway of success.
Now let's see what this beautiful gem that was sent in by Andrew Simon found for us today.
I'm student producer Andrew Simon, here taking in the gorgeous view at Pike Lake, another hidden geMKE. Even though it might be a little chilly in southeastern Wisconsin, don't let that stop you from going out to the great outdoors. There's still so many things to do, even when it does snow.
Pike Lake is a spring-fed kettle lake located in Washington County. It was established as a state park back in 1960. The lake covers over 500 acres with a max depth of 45 feet, with the whole park being approximately 700 acres. The lake's name originated from its abundance of pike fish.
So even with it freezing outside, there are still so many things to do. Of course, you can do ice fishing, but have to wait till the lake's frozen, snowmobiling, camping, and of course, hiking.
One of the lake's biggest attractions is fishing, which can be done any season. Fish species found in the lake are bass, northern pike, perch, pike, and walleye. The other major attraction is hiking around the lake. Many people also come to picnic, camp, and also just observe the beauty of nature.
Pike Lake has a lot to offer with every season, so make sure to check it out. Now this has been another hidden geMKE.
A cold but beautiful gem indeed. It's that time of year for the cold winter wind and snow, but I bet it looks just as gorgeous in the summertime. For now, that's all the time we have for today's episode. I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, and once again, Nick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Of course, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Courtney Bondar, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.